Hello and welcome to week 20 of Project 52, where the plan is to produce 52 tracks in 1 year. Let's jump straight into making this week's track. This week we are making Bass House, or at least I think this is Bass House. I don't know for sure, but to me it sounds like Bass House. What I have so far is once again a lot of drums, 2 basses, we have actually 3 basses. We have a sub bass, we have a main bass sound and a secondary bass sound. Then we have a very quiet synth patch, just reinforcing the second half of the drop. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, this week I started by making the drop first, and I thought today we could try to build backwards from the drop and build the track around it. So my plan for today is to try to finish the track around this drop idea. I already have some intro ideas, but let's jump into those after I've showed you what I've done so far. Alright, so we have the pigments patch here, and then we just have some effects. Let me play you first how everything sounds like, and then I'll show you a couple things from the project, how different sounds are made and whatnot. Prepare your ears. I don't really know how loud this is going to be, but it's going to be a loud track, so probably pretty loud. I don't know. And by the way, it just jumps straight into the drop, so there's no build up or anything, so yeah. Here's the track so far. I'll start from the drums because they are pretty interesting in my opinion. Although the kick and snare pattern is quite, well, I wouldn't say simple maybe, but the main rhythm behind all the other elements is just this. But I think what makes the drums a bit more interesting is all the other elements that we have in there. So we have a couple of loops. We have this one here, which is just this kind of shaker. Then we have this one. And then we have a third one, which is only for the second half of the drop, and it sounds like this. Then on top of those, we just have a lot of different small elements that aren't very noticeable in the grand scheme of things. Like, for example, these hi-hats in the second half. We do also have some rides here, and this one, whatever this is, click. So altogether, the drums sound like this. Then let's jump into the bass group, and the first one is just the sub bass. The only interesting part I think is this granular engine that I added for some reason. I don't know why. It just adds these click sounds every now and then. And then we have the 2 main bass sounds that I also made in Faceplant, which I'm pretty proud of because I'm not very good at sound designing, so I spent a lot of time trying to make a decently cool sound for the drop. This is how the first sound sounds like. So just as a quick breakdown, we have a basic sine wave which is being phase modulated by actually 2 different wavetables. This first one, I don't think this does much, but the second one is the one that gives it the kind of vowel movements, if that makes sense. Like, it's not static. You can see that this wavetable is being automated by, let me show it to you, by this macro here. So you can see that if I just show you the automation and then you look at the wavetable here, you can see that it's moving around. And then we just have some noise. And also one more wavetable to, I think, to give some more high end. And then the second bass sound, which sounds like this, It's just a variation of the first sound. And then the only thing left is that we have these effects that, like, especially this impact, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing in this track, but I just wanted some background noise. So those are all the elements so far for this track. So we have the drop. Now let's try to build a track around it. So I think I'll start by just moving this to a different location further down the arrangement. Maybe it could be like here. And let's start thinking about the intro. We could try to play the same rhythm as we have in the bass sound in the drop, in the intro, to kind of start introducing the rhythm that we are going to play. Wasn't perfect, but we'll quantize everything, I think. I'll just make sure that all the note lengths are the way I want them to be, because I can't play them the way I want them to be. For example, this one is too long. Also, these two could be slightly shorter. Okay, let's try to look for a slightly better sound for the chords. Okay, this sound could work, but we don't need to do the sustained note thing. We can just do like this sort of thing. Then a bass. If you're gonna bring the shaker in that section, I think we are gonna have to bring it way down in volume, because it's just too loud at the moment. A snare, I think it worked on top as a kind of a build-up snare. Damn it, do I need to put these in a sampler so I can do the pitch bending thing? Because like each of these has an individual pitch, so I can't like automate all of their pitch as far as I know. I guess I need a sampler. The range is too short. Range 5 semitones. Alright. That's terrible. I think it's because of my terrible chord progression. It's just not very good. Let's add some layers and then maybe some effects, or not maybe, I have to add some effects for the build-up, and then let's work with that and move on to making the rest of the track after the first drop, because I don't want to get bogged down in this intro. Alright, now to the effects. This is my least favorite part. I don't know how to do effects. Maybe some vocal effect in there, like a vocal hit or something. Actually, now I have an idea. Let's add a layer from the tail of the vocal effect here. So let me just show you what I mean. Okay, that should be enough. And maybe let's take this part here and just duplicate it. Okay, what's next? I don't know. Then we need to look for some more risers for the build-up. You know what, let's make one ourselves, because then I have a sense of some sort of accomplishment and not just loading up random samples. I think we want some vibrato. Let's also make it a bit dirtier with noise. And also we could add a granular engine, because that gives usually some great pad type qualities to your sounds. Ooh, that's cool. I don't know what I'm doing. I should listen to it in the actual track, so it makes sense of what I want it to sound like. I listened through the track once in full as it is at the moment and just make sure that there's not any obvious things that we should add in the intro. The intro isn't very good and it still needs some work, but just so we can finish the arrangement today, I think we are going to move on to the other stuff, and that should be faster because now we have pretty much all the elements that we want to add. The middle section, if you want to do something different there, could take some time, so that's why I want to move forward as quickly as possible so we can get that done today. Also, the mix is much muddier in the drop. It's probably due to this sound here. Could we try to add some sort of mid-side EQ just to clean it up a tiny bit? That should be much better. Let's hear it. So yeah, we need some more effects in the drop as well, but I'll do that later on. Let's not do that today because that'll just take too much time. So let's move forward. My plan is still to try to finish the arrangement today. So let's keep up the pace, I guess. Alright, we need to clip this one. Sorry, I'm doing like mixing as well here, but I just want to fix these obvious mixing things right away when I hear them, because otherwise I can just forget about them very easily, so. It's too drastic of a difference. I don't care, I will move on and try to finish the arrangement as I have been repeating throughout this video. So, so let's move forward. bring some more percussion into the build-up. I think it could work. Yeah, that is nice. Alright, then we have one more drop and a short outro maybe, and that should be it. I kind of want to do some slight variation to the second drop, but I don't know what it could be. Let's add another snare, but not a snare per se, but a percussion as a snare. I don't know. I don't know. I never know. But hey, you don't know if you don't try, so that's what we are going to do. I already know that I'm gonna spend too much time on this. Do I have some cool effects that I could use as a snare? That's so weird. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. My audio recorder ran out of battery, so I had to take a break. I mean, actually it was a great place to take a break because I had to eat something, so I went to get some lunch and now I'm back. And actually before I turned on the camera just now, I tried to finish the arrangement real quick and I think I managed to do that. So let me quickly show you the things that I did to make the arrangement, in my opinion, finished. After that, let's try to find some sections that might need some work still, and that should be it for this week. Alright, so the intro is pretty much the same, I think. I did a tiny bit of mixing as well to make everything fit a little bit better, because previously, for example, the kick drum was way too loud in everywhere, so I took that down a little bit. So that pre-drop thing is new, I think. I added one layer to the bass, which is just there to add some more high end. I also added some effects, and also this one here. The section after the drop should be pretty similar than it was before. Let's have a listen. Then we have this section where we have the main sound that we use in the intro as well, but we added delay flat addition with the reverse forward mode. And then we go into the second build-up. The next drop we have this huge filthy snare sounding thing, which is not actually a snare. So we have a compressor, we have flatter, adding it some dynamic distortion. Let me just demonstrate. So for the transients, we add slightly less distortion, so it doesn't get too flat. So if I just disable the dynamic mode, the only thing we do is just kind of save the transient a bit more. And then we have an EQ. Oh, actually, the send that we did, or a return track as it's called in Ableton, but I like to call we because you are watching as well. So maybe you can also feel like you're producing with me. We add a delay together with further. What delay is doing is just adding that kind of slapback echo to the snare as well. So we don't have kind of a 4-part drop anymore as we did in the first drop. But what I did here is, because the track is already quite long, like it's almost 4 minutes, I think, I just made an outro out of the second half of the second drop. Okay, so the snares, or the claps, whatever they are in this, the second half of the first half of the second drop, they sound a bit weird because we have first this different type of snare, and then suddenly we have all the other layers except one. There's a bit too much transient. So I think we need to bring down this layer of the snares. We forgot to add this layer that we made for the first drop. Let's add it back in here. Was there something else as well? Oh yeah, this one. Let's add this one as well. All right, I don't know anymore. That should be good enough. Let me just listen through the outro once more. I don't know what to do about the snares here. This new snare doesn't fit in the second half, but it sounds a bit weird if we just take it out completely. I'll figure that out later on. I just remembered I was about to listen to the outro and not the snare. Well, I guess the outro is okay. We don't have to listen to it anymore. I listen to it anyway tomorrow when I do the mixing, so this should be good enough for now, I think. Okay, that's enough for today. I think I have been sitting here for, I don't know, even 4 hours at least. I need to do some other work as well. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you liked it. If you have decided to take part on Project 52, so you are trying to produce 52 tracks as well in 2025, I hope you liked your track this week. If you'd like to share it with other people, I mean, I'd like to hear it at least. You can join the Sixth Sample Discord server from the link in the description, and there we have a Project 52 text channel where each week we share the tracks and give feedback to others. If you're interested in the future videos that I will be releasing throughout the year every Wednesday, be sure to be subscribed, and also if you like the video, press the like button, the thumb shaped thing. Okay, that's it. Here is the track. I hope you like it, and I also hope to see you next week for week 21 of Project 52, so see you then. Bye bye.